So thanks a lot for inviting me for this AICT ATL program. A very good morning, and whole of this week you spent on Industry 4.0, different emerging technologies in that. So today we consolidated with what kind of education we need to enable this Industry 4.0 and 5.0, and now further 6.0 is also on the way. So our national education policy is also mapped to Education 4.0, as we can see from its main goals, that is to impart equitable, quality, lifelong learning, holistic education, which is part of Industry 5.0, with 21st century skills that is also relevant to when we teach engineering with respect to Industry 4.0. And we have to map all this with the sustainable development goals. I think you already had a lecture on that. So whatever kind of research or education we are doing, we have to map it with the sustainable development goals. So you've already seen how industry was developing, its history and how it evolved. So we are today, every time industrial revolution took place, it was disruptive. The old technologies became obsolete, and nearly we shifted to newer technologies. So like we had industrial revolutions, education was also changing. So we are moving from education 1.0 to 4.0. Right? So initially it was teacher-centric, passive learning, teachers were delivering, students were taking. But as we moved with technology and now with Industry 4.0, we are into Education 4.0. With 3.0, we started working towards student-centric approaches, where importance was given to self-learning, flipped classrooms were introduced, and we had internet, user-generated content was there. And now Education 4.0 is innovation-intensive. Not only learning, but critical thinking, all those things are becoming important. And now we have active learning and blended learning. So we have smart technologies, we have AI, and the focus is on skill development for advanced industries. So there is a little bit difference. Education 5.0 has enhanced 4.0 with human-centric and social emotional skills. So even today, to some extent, we are doing passive teaching, where students are listening, we are teaching, we prepare our lectures and we deliver it, and the students are listening to it, but that is not sufficient for Industry 4.0. So students are just focusing on taking the notes because they know the questions will come from what is being taught in class. So that is not sufficient. We are not preparing the students as per today's requirements. So instead of passive teaching, we should intentionally involve our students in the process of learning, in the process of teaching also. They must do experiments, they must analyze, reflect and create. And they are the exactly skills which are required in Industry 4.0 workplaces. Because we are saying with AI, the repetitive jobs, the routine jobs will be taken by AI. So we have to shift to critical thinking kind of jobs. So we have to prepare our students as per that. So if we want to align our education with Industry 4.0, that means we are shifting towards Education 4.0, then active learning is the core of all that. So in active learning, we deliberately involve our students in meaningful learning tasks. It is opposite of passive listening. Right? So initially what was happening, sometimes we used to be scared if we'll ask questions from our teachers, maybe they'll get annoyed. So it was 100% passive. They were delivering something and students were listening and taking notes. If they'll challenge something which we are taught, we are teaching, and they don't agree with that, the teacher used to get annoyed. Right? So then the era started, we wanted our students to ask questions, but they were so tuned to passive learning that they'll just listen and go from the class. So now our focus should be on active learning, and for active learning there should be hands-on tasks. We should give them real world problems for solving. They should reflect on their actions. If they are doing something, solving their problem in a specific way, they should reflect on it, ki why they are doing it. Collaboration is very, very important, where students work together. And innovation using emerging technologies. To some extent students are doing this. They are doing their project works or they are doing their labs as teams. So this will help them to become adaptable. Decision making will improve, their creativity will improve, and there will be continuous learning beyond the classrooms. So this is the core of active learning. So hands-on tasks, that means they should be very, very good at digital tools. Real world problem solving, they should take some practical challenges. Co-solving means where they are participating in challenges and in a team, and they should reflect on their actions, ki whatever they are doing, is it correct? So they have to apply concepts, experiment, analyze, build solutions or prototypes, and reflect on outcomes. So all active learning activities should include this. So we will be able to develop higher order skills on our students through active learning, and that is what is required today. Whatever is the theoretical background of concepts, they can take it from, there is a lot of content online, so digital media has helped us in that. So we should focus on analysis, synthesis, evaluation and creation. So our students should be able to break down the problems, interpret data, combine knowledge to create solutions, make judgments, compare alternatives. They should be able to build models, prototypes and digital tools. So for different, as you can see, for different types of jobs, they need different types of competencies. Some are of major importance, intermediate and low importance. So if a person is an executive, maybe he doesn't need the technical skills that much. But for a person to be technical, in technical workforce, all the 4 competencies are important: technical, creative, communication, independent decision making, responsibility, organizational skills. So they require everything. So as per the job requirement, we should see what competencies our students require. So I've taken it from a research paper. So like this you can find out the competencies which are required by your students and accordingly plan your assignments. So if we are shifting towards active learning, not only in our labs but in our routine theory classes also, we can do it in an active learning mode, where we are giving a brief lecture, then we are maybe giving some worksheets to our students, and then we are giving some minor projects where the students can work on their own. So we should encourage them to work with real-time data. They should be good at using digital tools like AI, AR, VR, IoT kits, cloud platforms. They are the basic requirements for every student now. They should develop problem solving and innovation skills. So mostly what we do, we give them some numericals, we give them their solutions also, and then we give similar problems and we ask them to solve. But it should be beyond that. We should give them some complex problems where they have to use their own innovation skills. They should be adapting new technologies, like we said, the digital tools. And collaboration as interdisciplinary teams is very, very important. So for any project work, for any subject, if you see, the background is multiple interdisciplinary subjects which we need. For AI also we need philosophy, psychology, neuroscience, statistics. So all those subjects are the background of artificial intelligence. Like that, any subject or any research will be interdisciplinary. So we should prepare them for that. So if we want to shift to education 4.0, we should be able to integrate all this in our curriculum. So not only the newer technologies are important, but how our students learn and create and reflect, that is also important. So when we shift towards education 4.0, so we have to do the SWOT analysis, implementation of industry 4.0 in education. So the strengths are growing digital, established IT industry is already there. There are so many government initiatives which is helping us to move towards education 4.0, which is aligned to industry 4.0. So we are addressing different real challenges. There is educational diversity which is already there. Pandemic, COVID has taught us a lot of things. We have suddenly shifted to the digital platforms. Workforce preparation will be the strength. But it has certain weaknesses like unequal access. So the digital divide is there. We are saying education should be technology enabled, but some have those technologies, some students don't have access to that. So the digital divide is there. So always teachers who have been teaching from 20-30 years, there is always a resistance to change. They say our way of teaching is better than the current. So always there is a resistance to change. Quality disparities are there. Resources in different institutes are different. Variable infrastructure. There are marginalized groups. Right? The students who are going to very basic schools, or they don't even have access to completing their school education. And stakeholders resistance is already also there. So there are different stakeholders in education, even parents. So sometimes parents are concerned that you are just teaching for 10 minutes, giving some worksheets. So those things are there. But there are lots of opportunities also. So if we are moving towards like blended teaching, where online and offline are combined together, or there are certain subjects in which we don't have expertise, so we can shift to online. So on SWAM there are many online courses which the students can take. So it can address teacher shortage. So personalized learning is very, very important in active learning. Every student has his own or her own way of learning. So the students, as per their requirement, can be provided personalized learning, and AI is helping in that. So it can help to reach the underprivileged. There are best institutes, but every student can't go to the IITs, but they have many online courses. They have opened it now, which we can take online, and they are very cost effective. So global leadership, online mode, students can opt for courses. They can learn from any best universities of the world. Knowledge sharing is there. Lifelong learning has become a concept, because without lifelong learning, even we can't survive. Because as teachers, we are also evolving. We've been passive teachers. Now we have to shift to the active mode, start using the technologies. Innovation ecosystem development is another opportunity, but there are certain threats also. That means significant investment is required at institute level, government level, and the rapid technological changes are taking place. By the time we learn something new evolves. Lack of regulations, that is also very, very critical. So whenever there is technology, there is misuse and misuse. Like for AI, there are no clear-cut regulations. So that is becoming challenging also in active learning. So we say that we give complex problems to our students, that they have to code for some real world application. But how to assess the student, we don't know if they have done it from ChatGPT or using their own critical skills. So work is also going on that, how to evaluate the student in the current scenario. That has also become important. Uneven distribution, uneven quality is there. fraudulent products are there. So now if you go online, you have hundreds of products for teaching, learning, preparing your lectures. So we are confused ki they are good or not. Tools become obsolete very soon. So how we upgrade them from time to time. So these are some of the threats. So one thing is clear ki we need technological interventions for improving our education today, for teaching, learning and evaluation process, for supporting teacher preparation and their professional development, enhancing educational access, streamlining educational planning, management, administration. So in all these, the technologies and specifically AI is going to play a major role. See, it can help teachers save their time from the administrative work. It becomes faster. The student life cycle will be online on our learning management systems or ERPs. Again, AI is evaluating everything from student admission, their assessment, evaluation and everything. So technology has also been evolving with education. So it started with the typewriters, printing press, where the content was given by the teacher and lectures or books were printed. So printers and calculators came. So now we find calculator very basic, and at that time it was an innovative technique. Mails, again the education was teacher centered. Then computers came, online materials came, active learning started. And now we have active learning, technology based learning, student centric learning. Fine. So now our focus should shift to students, what they require for their futures and how we can enable it. So in education 4.0, it is student centric. Autonomy is there. Students must be able to learn independently, fine, and choose their own training paths. Sometimes a student comes to us, I don't want to opt the elective subject which you are giving, I want to opt some other subject. So UGC has also given this ki 60% offline, 40% online. Students can pursue whatever they like. So they can choose their own paths. So we should give them that freedom, flexibility, learning possibilities regardless of time and space. The education process is adaptable to individual needs. If my student wants to study machine learning but they don't have a base in statistics, so they can join some course on basic stats either in offline or online mode as per their convenience and their time. So learning methods, like in active learning, we'll see few. There are different types of methods which we can use. It is both basically practice based and formative assessment. Competencies is very, very important. So we should help the students to develop hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are specific to the technology in which they want to work, specific to the area, and soft skills are other skills like communication and other, how they are working in a team. So all those are the soft skills which are going to help them. They should be able to use technology, use innovative technologies as a learning and manage learning and assessment process. Sometimes students are joining some online courses. When they are doing it, in between they have some quizzes. So based on the result of that quiz, the student comes to know their understanding level, and even the teacher knows about it. So infrastructure, the infrastructure should also improve. We should provide them facilities in class and lab. And they should have those facilities at home also. And that is something which the government should work because of this digital divide. Instructor's role is to act as a tutor and providing individualized guidance. So our role has changed, not only preparing our lecture, focusing on that and delivering it in the class, treating all the students same, but as a teacher I must know all the students in my class, their strengths and weaknesses and what they require. So I have to guide the students as per their requirements, as per their needs. And so AI can help us to reduce the time we spend on administration and give more times to our students. So that is what we will try to achieve. But whatever we are doing active learning, we are helping students in active learning, we are preparing our assignments like that, but they should map to the course objectives. Now, they shouldn't be random. The course structure is something different and what assignments we are giving them is different. First of all, we should see the course objectives and learning outcomes which we want, and as per that we should provide them those project based or problem based learning. So active learning is not extra activity, it is purposeful engagement designed to achieve academic goals aligned with Industry 4.0 skills. So in this we will take few of these. First is project based learning. We are already doing it in our labs, but we should take it to our classrooms also, because sometimes our students, even in our teaching, they get bored because our lecture time is 1 hour, and research suggests that 15 minutes to 20 minutes was their concentration span, and now with AI that has reduced. With digital technologies they can just concentrate for 10 to 15 minutes. So if we prepare our lectures, it will take us more time. If we want to prepare a lecture of 10 to 15 minutes, give it to our students and then we give them some problems to solve, maybe in a team or at individual level, they'll enjoy it more and the learning will be more. So in this we can ask them to develop prototypes if we have that kind of labs, or they work on models, or they can even prepare posters for their problem presentations or some digital artifacts. But the projects must reflect and direct support to course learning outcomes. So that mapping is very, very important. So the key elements how we can make this successful is, first thing is the problem should be challenging, or the question should be challenging. It must be meaningful, real world, aligned with industry needs. So we always tell our students that whatever research, whatever you are doing, it should be for the benefit of the society. So it should focus on some real world problems. Sustained inquiry, students research, investigate, iterate and refine over time. So it will not happen in one time. So mostly our PG students do their research and in that this component is there, but in their teaching, routine teaching, it is not there. Authenticity is very, very important, where problems resemble real industry or community challenges. So sometimes our students are doing repetitive work, they are developing some projects, but they don't have any practical significance, right? So we should advise them to take problems which are real world problems. Student voice and choice is very, very important. As a tutor, it is my duty that I give my student freedom to choose their research path. So normally in traditional passive teaching mode, what we are doing is that my research area is this, so you have to work in that only. So that is not correct. Students should choose their own research paths, tools and project formats. And we should be there only as a tutor, telling them where they may go wrong. Reflection, students think about what they learned and how they have learned. So it is up to the students, they should only reflect back and see how they have to learn this and do this. Critique and revision is very, very important. Continuous feedback should be there, peer review should be there, iterative improvement should be there. As a tutor, I'll give my feedback. Their teammates, their friends can then give them a review on their work. And public product, students present to classmates, faculty, industry or community, and that will only help them to improve. So one is project based learning, the other one is problem based learning. So if we go through different research papers, we will feel like project based learning is always there in science and technology streams. Problem based learning was initiated for medical line. So here the students are presented with complex, ill structured problems, right? One are structured problems. The problem is there, I know the procedure to solve it and I get one answer for that. And in ill structured, the problem can be solved in a multiple of ways. It can have multiple solutions and we have to see which is the best solution. So this was generally initially suggested for medical line, where students have to diagnose maybe different disease. Different diseases may have same symptoms, so they have to analyze different reports, maybe MRI scans, clinical reports, to reach a conclusion, and it could be subjective. Two doctors can give different opinions based on the same symptoms. So in this case, inquiry is there, collaboration is there, where a team, maybe radiologist is collaborating with the other doctor. Self-directed learning is there, critical reasoning is there, but now this problem-based learning is routinely used in teaching. So why it works? It encourages deep thinking, conceptual understanding. So not only diagnosis, but what kind of maybe drug is to be given to a patient, that will also have multiple factors on their current health, age, gender, and all those things. So now that can be, this kind of concept can be even shifted to teaching engineering problems. Fine, because in engineering also we have ethical concerns. If I am developing a AI based tools, I know its strengths, but I should also keep in mind the sustainable development goals of environment, and other AI ethics should be there. So it mimics real world problems solving, questioning, planning, researching, creating, testing, and presenting. Right? So when we talk about all this, if we plan to prepare our lectures as per this, we as teachers also require time. And time with concentration, because most of the time we are multitasking, we don't even get time to sit 1 or 2 hours to focus on what we are going to teach the next day. So teachers must be given sufficient time so that they can think about this project-based, problem-based learning environments. Examples are environment challenges, case-based tasks, industry 4.0 issues, automation, robotics, sustainability, AI ethics. So as we are moving towards automation with industry 4.0, so how it is going to displace many people from their jobs, and what the future holds for them, how we have to retrain them for some other jobs. So we are saying that now the jobs will be for people who have this capability of critical thinking, they are creative, but what the maximum population who is doing the routine work, physical labor, what are they going to do if there is excessive automation? So all those ethical issues are there. Then there is cooperative and collaborative learning. So when we talk about project-based learning, it achieves one part of what is required in industry 4.0. When we talk about problem-based, it is solving other requirements. Students work together through structured interactions that build academic and social skills. So our students don't only need academic skills, but they also need social skills like soft skills. So there is PIES framework, one of this, positive interdependence. Students rely on each other and the success is mutual. Right? So students are working together and each of them has some strengths. So they are putting all together and mutually they are succeeding in doing something. So they are learning to work in a positive teamwork. Right? So individual accountability is also there. Each member contributes and demonstrates the understanding. Right? Equal participation, tasks distributed fairly, no domination or free riding. So domination means one person is dominating, he or she is going to this, that, and free riding means one of their friends is doing nothing, but he or she is getting the benefit. So it shouldn't be like that also. Simultaneous interaction, all students actively participate during the task. And now as a teacher, my responsibility is to see is it happening in this way or not. So normally we give them projects, 1 or 2 students are working very well, others are their friends with whom they are trying to help. So in science, technology and management context, assigning roles. that is also a part of collaborative learning. So one student can be given a role as a researcher who is going to do the literature review part, other one is a data analyst depending on their strength. Next, maybe he is good in coding, and finally one person has very good communication skills, he will be a presenter, right? So they are learning from each other and each one of them has their own strengths. So we should encourage them to work with real data. No, because most of the time when we are doing data analysis, we are doing AI based assignments, we are taking data from Kaggle or some online resources. So we are very happy that we have taken this data and our model is giving 99% accuracy, but when the students will shift to real data, there will be more challenges, difficult to work, difficult to train the models and get good accuracy. So building models using data science tools, exploring and analyzing those data sets and preparing collaborative presentations and reports. So another thing which has been used in mathematics, engineering and programming now is group quizzes, where so it has social and cognitive benefits, they say. So there is always, some teachers feel this is good, some teachers feel this is not good. Like I've said, you give a group quiz, maybe 1 or 2 students will try to find out the correct answers and their friends won't be doing anything, so they say and they're getting the same marks, right? But others say that when a student, they are working in a group quiz, teacher is not scolding any student, but the peers are only telling him or her that you are not working, so you have to work, or they assign the work and they don't even mind that. So that develops their social and cognitive skill. So it depends on the teacher how they are giving it, and secondly, each student in the group can give confidential feedback about the other members. So their scoring won't be same, it will be the review which they give for each other, right? So if they feel one student is not doing anything in the team, so his or her marks won't be same. So it improves engagement, peer explanation. Even if some student is weaker, his peers are going to help him to improve because they will be explaining. There is belongingness. One student feels very happy he is able to explain it to his friend or teach him or her something. That way it will, sometimes the students have some fear for some subjects, like especially mathematics. So if they are doing their individual quizzes, maybe if they know the correct answers, they get confused and they are not able to solve it. So when they are working in a team, it helps to improve their confidence, helps students assess both their own and others' understanding. So if someone is having better understanding, he will help others. Promote productive technical conversation, that is very, very important. So students will be together, instead of gossiping, they will be collaborating and talking something technical. So it will, all this when they are talking, discussing, it will help them to retain it better. If I have taught someone something, I'll retain it better than just going through books. So students often remember how they convinced their peers better than listening to a lecture, right? So this approach is also so all these approaches which we have seen, it starts with the questions, problems, projects, and encourage students to discover principles, concepts through guided exploration. So if I give my student a problem directly, so he or she is going to find to solve this problem what he or she needs to learn. So normally in passive teaching, what we are doing, we are explaining something, based on that we give some problems, so they don't critically have to think, they just know that this same formula has to be applied for a different values. So mostly a teaching should start with questions and problems. So these are called inductive methods. And all this which we have seen, this promotes higher order thinking, conceptual understanding, long-term retention of knowledge. Right? So now due to Industry 4.0, we are seeing the schools have started from their 3rd, 4th class, they have tinkering labs, they have AI, they have IoTs. So whatever we've been teaching in engineering courses, students are coming with the base from the schools now. So in next 2 and 3 years, they will teach the teachers, fine. They are coming, they are more young and curious. So we need to go beyond that. So now we see कि we relate industry requirements with education, with emerging technologies, and now we want it should map with the sustainable development goals also. So there is convergence of digital transformation. Sustainability goals is changing the way educational systems are designed and delivered, right? So those goals also we need to map. So personalized, inclusive, competency based learning, so that comes in sustainable development goal 4, I think, where we talk about quality education, right? So all those things are there. So now it is learner centric. And web 3, one is web 1, 2 and 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. 3.0 was semantic web. 4.0, so it offers novel tools to rethink educational infrastructure and governance with the emergence of blockchain, fine. So you can just search about it. So like I've said, SDG 4 is ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities. That is also what is required in Industry 4.0, and this is enabled by AI and other emerging technologies. SDG 9, where you build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive, sustainable industrialization. To make the industry sustainable and foster innovation, it should start with the quality education. So these are also mapped together. SDG 10, reduce inequality within and among countries. We are saying developed countries, and now we are in the knowledge society. Now our wealth is knowledge, right? So how these inequalities can be reduced? So in education 4.0, it emphasizes the development of skills such as adaptability, lifelong learning, interdisciplinary thinking, digital fluency is important, and this all is crucial for different sustainable development goals. So here we have to not only map the industry requirement, we also have to map the digital technologies which can be used for that kind of education like AI, and we have to also map it with the sustainable development goals. Ki whatever we are innovating, it should be sustainable also, right? So if we are working on some AI models, they are very complex and the problem is very simple. That means we are creating, what all happens when we are running these very complex models with millions and trillions of parameters. Carbon footprints will be there, cooling, lots of water is being used. So all those, they are conflicting. So it depends on our problem कि we want to work on only basic machine learning or AI or some other techniques, or we have to make lightweight models. So this we have already discussed. So now, so these are some key elements again taken from one paper that is given by the World Economic Forum. Global citizenship skills they should have, innovation and creativity skills, technology skills, interpersonal skills. Right? So for that, global citizen skills, personalized and self-paced learning, accessible and inclusive learning, problem-based and collaborative learning. So they are mapping what is required and how it can be done. So key features of education 4.0 in India, if we see, integration of technology is one of the cores. Skill development, government is giving lots of focus on that because they know only skills will survive. faculty development programs, lots of faculty development programs and good ones. Even IIMs, IITs are asked to provide skills for the teachers to upgrade them so that they are better educators in this era of education 4.0. It is also focusing on lifelong learning. In NEP also there are certain points. Otherwise also in online courses there is no age limit. Any person, student, teacher, they are not asking if they have some degree already, so they can pursue many such courses. Collaborative learning, I've said that is also being emphasized. That is fostering a sense of community and shared learning. So now AI is also playing a big role when we are transitioning towards education 4.0. It is helping in personalized learning, assessment, enabling students to develop skills in digital literacy. It is also helping the teachers to prepare their lectures well. Even if I want to give a project-based assignment, I can take help of AI, but it shouldn't be blindly, we shouldn't depend on that, because whatever is being created, it is human responsibility, not AI's responsibility. If something goes wrong, it is the responsibility of the teacher, not the AI they are using. So we have to do that. So education 5.0, the core concepts, it builds upon education 4.0 only by recentering education on the human element. In Industry 4.0, the focus was on technology. We were talking about skill development in education 4.0. But 5.0 is enhancing it further, and they are putting a human element, focusing on the holistic development of a student as an individual and as a member of society. So that has also become very, very important. So if they are good in academics, they are good at skills, but they should be good as an individual and a member of the society. So in this, key technologies, AI powered tools for even more adaptive and personalized learning with the focus on maximizing the human potential. So it is more human centric approach to technology, right? Innovation. Whatever we are doing, whatever technologies we are developing, it should be human centric for the benefit of humanity. So we say the machines and humans are going to work together. Like robotics, it was for total automation, where robotics were working independently and people were not allowed to go near those robots because they could get hurt, because they were not trained like that. But now we have cobots where humans and robots are working together. So they have different sensors, vision. So if a robotic arm comes near a human, it is going to stop, right? So how they can co-work together, that is part of Industry 5.0. So creating a sense of social and environment responsibility is important. That becomes a part of sustainable development goals. So now in education 5.0, that small parts are already introduced. Prioritize social emotional learning in students. Interpersonal skills are important. So it is aimed for holistic student development, including mental and personal growth. So now we get many mails from AICT and UGC where there are a lot of concerns about the students' mental and personal health. It emphasizes on ethical considerations in AI. That has become very, very important, and technology use. Promotes active learning and creativity. Seeks to create solutions that improve life in society. So your technologies should be such that they shouldn't harm others. It is for the benefit of the society. And specifically, social and emotional learning has become very, very important. Right? So we should teach our students in self-management, managing emotions, behaviors to achieve one's goals. Right? So how we have to manage our emotions in any environment. Another important thing is self-awareness, recognizing one's emotions and values as well as one's strengths and challenges. So we have to reflect back, we have to teach our students ki how to find their strengths and their challenges and how they can overcome them. Responsible decision making. We want them to be responsible individuals making ethical, constructive choices, right? About personal and social behavior. That means we should teach them about the rational behavior. Relationship skills have also become very, very important. Forming positive relationship, working in teams, dealing effectively with conflict. And that has become very, very challenging these days with the, you can say, technologies only, where everyone is very comfortable on a digital device, but they are not communicating when they are sitting as individuals. Social awareness, showing understanding and empathy for others. So this part has been included in Education 5.0, and now that is also becoming a part of our curricula also. So maybe we will be able to do something more in this. So as a teacher, as a tutor, this has become my responsibility. Instead of a passive teacher, I should help my students with all these also. So we are moving from Education 4.0, which is industry focused, skill based learning. We want our students to be skilled, very proficient, but in this tech with human touch and sustainability and empathy, and all those things come in this education. So with this I will stop, and if you have any questions, they are welcome.